Hey everybody, Richard Siller here, mid-September 2018. Wanted to give you a little bit of a video update on some interesting topics going on in the employment sector involving the Me Too movement. Obviously, you know, at the firm, we're huge advocates of folks coming forward in the workplace who have been sexually harassed or discriminated against and having their voice heard. We represent a ton of ladies who have been subjected to, you know, sex, we call quid pro quo. This for that is the actual Latin meaning of, you know, women having or being asked to do things in exchange for continued employment. And we all know at this point that that's illegal. But I did want to touch briefly on the counter side of the Me Too movement, and what's actually popping up as trends in the employment sector is the situation of a false Me Too accusation and what happens to an employee. Let's just take what the general census has been, a male employee who is accused of Me Too and fired when that employee denies that happened. And it raises a lot of interesting issues. What stops a disgruntled, let's just say in this case a female employee, from making an accusation of sexual harassment when it's not true and they just want to have some sort of revenge against a male counterpart or a male employee? Well, in this day and age in the workplace, employers are running scared. So what generally happens is the employer will turn around and do a quick investigation and turn around and fire the male employee. But what rights does the male employee have if he legitimately denies the allegations and he gets fired and loses his livelihood, possibly his family, based on the accusation? I can't imagine too many wives would be pleased to hear that their husband allegedly has been groping female employees in the office and things of that nature. So what rights does the employee truly have, the male employee who gets fired even though he didn't do it? And the bad news is, in Florida and generally under federal law, the employee has no rights. The male employee has no rights, and it's a scary proposition. We operate in Florida and most states around the country under the premise that you're what's called an at-will employee. And an at-will employee means you can be fired for any reason, whether it's a good reason, a bad reason, even an untrue reason, so long as it's not an illegal reason, okay? So the interesting aspect or issue becomes, male employee gets fired, and what are his remedies? Well, his remedies are not great. His remedies are to suggest, one, to file a lawsuit against the accuser, saying that what you did cost me my job. We call it an interference with a business relationship, meaning the accuser interfered with his business relationship to the employer. Those cases are very difficult, very time consuming, and you're not going to find a lot of lawyers willing to take those cases on. You could also file what's called a defamation or slander case, but again, same situation. And from the business side of things, you sort of have to evaluate, what am I going to get from this if you're the male employee? Because oftentimes the co-employee that's accusing you, even if you win and sue them, they may not have a lot of money if they're a co-employee. So you might get this judgment exonerating you, but ultimately you've now spent your own lawyer's fees and you have a judgment on paper that may be worth nothing. So it's really what we call the classic catch-22 for male employees. So what can you do if you're a male employee to assure that you're not going to be accused of sexual harassment and protect yourself? And in this day and age, the unfortunate answer is dot your I's and cross your T's. If you have a tenuous relationship with a co-employee that you believe is capable of this sort of misconduct, then I would put things in writing and make sure that your correspondence is in writing. The other avenue is, if you don't feel comfortable meeting with this employee or subordinate alone, you should always have a witness present. You know, the best advice I could give folks, and I hate to give it in this day and age where we can't even be in the same office together without you know, somebody potentially making an accusation, is treat this employee as if you're a doctor examining a person of the opposite sex. You would always have a nurse in the room or a witness, and you would always document what you did to ensure that things like this aren't happening. Look, the truth of the matter is, guys, we put ourselves in this situation, and I say the collective we, because men for years and decades have treated women disparately in the workplace. And now we as men have created a situation where women are fighting back, and they should. But there's going to be some innocent carnage in the process. So I wish I could give more legal advice in terms of, hey guys, there's a remedy, a real remedy, something that has teeth if somebody falsely accuses you in the workplace. But the realities of law is that it's just not favorable for you, and the company's going to cover their butt and get rid of you before taking a chance and being subjected to a very expensive sexual harassment lawsuit. So just a couple of musings. If you are a gentleman or even a female in a situation that's been accused of sexual harassment and you didn't do it, you should absolutely explore your options and your rights. You can check us out on the website, www.floridaovertimelawyer.com, or you can check us out on YouTube where you found this and other videos. And if you're going through that situation, I feel for you. And hopefully there's something that we can do. Maybe you've got an employment agreement that says you can't be fired unless it's proven. So there's always some sort of option. Always explore your legal rights. There's lawyers out there like us and others that will give you a free consultation. So use it and figure out what your rights are. Hope everybody is doing okay from the post-Labor Day hangover, back to school. Everything's in full flow. Football season's here. Hope everybody's staying safe. Have a great day, guys.